Good evening, parents. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to just bring you some updates. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. But we have been open on the hybrid since early January. You might be thinking, what if I would like to send my children back to school? Then my response is, we're open. You have only to pick up the phone and let us know that they're ready to come back. We'll arrange busing. You can drive. You're well aware that I believe that school is the best place for them. But just one bit of caution. Please don't wait so close to graduation that there is an issue. Only you know best as to whether or not your child is benefiting from remote education. If you need them to come in during the week, if you need us to arrange for a Saturday tutorial, we will do everything that we can to make sure that your children graduate on time. But just remember, we're here for you. But I wanted to answer a question. What about graduation? If you were in Southland or 162 last year, you're well aware that we did a one-to-one graduation. That may seem a little odd, but we did. We felt that every child should have the opportunity to be personally congratulated and to receive their diploma and take pictures with you. And that's what we did, child by child, family by family. But this year, we thought about what was missing, if anything. And I think what was missing is a little pomp and circumstance, the opportunity to sit with their peers. That's probably what was missing from my perspective. And so you're well aware that we have a very large facility that is now complete. Hasn't been used, but it's complete. So what we're going to do this year, our graduation dates are Southland, May 29th at 4 o'clock, and 162, June 19th at 4 o'clock. We'll send you all of this information. But I did want to explain the format. I know that you've been careful, and we've been careful, and so children have been happy, and you've understood some of the reasons that we did what we did. But now we feel very comfortable about having 12 students at a time, 4 parents in our field house, and we're going to present not just a diploma, but the goal is a memory. Because remember, it's not necessarily about that piece of paper. It's also about thinking back, and it's about that rainbow, I'll just say that. It's about thinking of something that brings a smile to your face. And so each group of 12 will have a small memory, a rainbow, a memory, and then our videographer would put all of the graduation together so that you will have that tape. So you will receive 2 weeks before May 29th and 2 weeks before June 19th an invitation from the principals. But I'm not going to tell you everything because we have to have some surprises. But you're going to be pleased. You're going to be thinking about what you experienced. There'll be a smile on the faces of your students, our graduates. But more than that, you will know that everyone is safe. So we're going to have socially distanced graduations, but in a different way this year. And so information will come out, but I wanted you to hear what the procedure was going to be, why we're doing it, and make sure that if there are any questions that I can respond. But the next thing I wanted to talk about was testing. Testing is all over the place. You know that at the elementary level, we have the IAR, and we've had it for the past 4 or 5 years. It's a statewide assessment that is used to not only give us information about where the students are academically, but really to rank the schools in the state of Illinois. This year, most of the superintendents in our state, as well as in the other states within our country, wrote to our Secretary of Education and asked that it be waived because it is an in-person test only. We cannot test the children from home. And we thought about that, and I'm sharing this with you now. So when you get the invitation to come in, you make a decision as to whether or not you think it's important enough to get the information that you will receive sometime during the summer, or whether or not you want to continue with just the remote capability and the remote response that we've had throughout the year. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with this because if we're bringing in children who have not been in since last August and we're administering a test, what is the validity of the test? And you can decide that for yourself, but you will receive this information. At the high school level, we gave the SAT in the fall. The SAT is a requirement for high school graduation. We just received last week a notification from the state superintendent that they're going to waive that requirement. So if you're currently a senior, there were 21 of you who did not sit for the SAT in the fall. You have a choice. You can come in and sit for the SAT, and I would do that if in fact your ACT scores were not what you wanted them to be. Then you would have two sets of scores to send to colleges to make sure that you're reflecting the very best you academically that you can. But it is no longer, for this 1 year only, a graduation requirement. So you received a letter from Dr. Talley some time ago that talked about the SAT, but if you're a senior, you can waive that. Juniors must come and sit for the SAT. We're prepared for you. We will have no more than 50 students in our gym, 50 students in our Performing Arts Center, 50 students or less in the Commons, and so there will be social distancing. Parents, this is something that I really ask you to do because we must have this information as we go into the senior year. And then, of course, all juniors have received an invitation to sit for the ACT. The ACT is a little different. As you know, it's a nationally normed exam. It's given by the College Board. It is not our decision as to when we give it. It's not our decision as to where we present the test structure or the information. But a few colleges are test optional. Most colleges look at the SAT or the ACT, and it's going to be very, very significant to you. So what I'd like for you to think about doing, let me rephrase that. What I'd like for you to do is to come and sit for the ACT and the SAT if you're a junior, because what we're doing is thinking about your future. It's not about now. We're going to be very, very careful, and you've been in before. So we need all juniors to come in, and if you have questions, call Marvin Talley. You have his letter, and we move forward. The state made another change. We were to administer the PSAT to our 9th and 10th graders. They've canceled the PSAT. So a lot of things are kind of moving pieces, and I wanted to make sure that you understood the reason why. It could be that the state decides in the fall that that's a safe time to give the PSAT. At this point, however, it has been canceled. So is there anything else that is different? One piece of bad news. We do not see a way to give an 8th grade dance or a prom socially distanced safely. We rented the Odyssey Country Club for our prom. They have notified us in writing that they're covering the dance floor. There'll be no dancing. There'll be no food served. And we must rent 3 rooms with 50 students in a room rather than 150 that we would have had at the prom. First of all, it will be very, very expensive. But secondly, what is a prom without dancing? What is a prom without the beautiful kind of, aura, interaction, socialization? That's what a prom is all about. But then something else that worries me, students generally would go to the prom with a date. So we cannot socially distance within our cars So I just have a question mark in my mind. So that is really the only negative thing that I want to share, that we do not see a way of doing a prom safely, and so therefore, unfortunately, we will not have a prom or an eighth grade dance this year. But enough of the bad news. What about some good news? I'm ever so proud of our teachers. You know that there's some hesitancy in everyone's mind about vaccinations. Let's be honest. I took mine. I was hesitant, a little nervous, didn't feel well with the first one, but it's the only thing that we have, and we have to take it. Our teachers are 82% vaccinated. They're 82% vaccinated. And they've overcome their fears. I don't know if 100% is possible, but we're moving in that direction. But what we're really moving towards is opening up for summer school. I can envision now all of our schools open, and during the morning having academic programs. I envision all kinds of camps, basketball camps, band camps, dance camps, whatever in the afternoon. 600 to 800 students. It's time for us to come back to school. And we will, and this is why we're preparing now. This is why we're getting our vaccinations. This is why we're measuring classrooms. This is why we're doing all the things that we're doing to welcome students back, face-to-face instruction for our huge summer program. But you know, all of that really is just in anticipation of one thing, and that's this grand opening. And I call it a grand opening because we've been in this hybrid structure, or sheltered in, or closed, or remote. We will have been in August for over a year. It will be time for us to open. The positivity rate is low. I'm very hopeful that that's going to happen, but I know that we're doing everything possible to make sure that it does. So if there are questions, and I'm certainly willing to answer the questions, but you know it's a socially distanced graduation. It will be beautiful, trust me. There's some changes in testing, but we have sent you information, and we will follow up with the details on that. The teachers, I guess I could say the teachers are rock stars. They have looked at what they do, and we're in a people business. Children, as you know, at this point cannot be vaccinated, but they're doing everything they can to make sure that we're in a safe bubble. And then, very soon, we're going to be open. We're going to be open. I don't say it's going to be as usual, because we're buying new Chromebooks, we're upgrading our wiring, we're making sure that no matter what happens, we'll be able to provide quality instruction. But we intend for it to be face-to-face instruction. So thank you very much for giving me a few minutes. Stay safe. And please know that we're open, and you could actually send your students back to school tomorrow. Just think about that. Just think about that. Just think about it. Thank you. Stay safe, and good night.